Super excited. But yeah, I way underestimated how long everything was going to take to set up to start the render yesterday. And yeah, so kind of like cut it off at the 3 hour mark, and we're going to continue it today, which works out because I was planning on doing the stream anyways. But let's just jump into it. Gonna go this way. This is kind of where we're at, and if you follow anybody like CG studios and stuff, you obviously know this is inspired by and kind of a lesson on working in this sort of style. These were our notes from last time, but it's this insanely cool Burberry spot that a really cool studio 6 and 5 they had done. I think it was pretty recently, 2 days ago. And I really love this sort of thing that is, I'm going to reiterate a bunch of stuff I talked about yesterday, but just to go over it again, I really love this kind of style that I've seen emerging, which is like really utilizing kind of CG for like what it's good at inside of like advertising. I mean, this could obviously be done with like a photo shoot, but I think the kind of iteration that you can do, and I mean they animated it too, which was really, really cool. But all these different pieces are just like that sort of thing. This would all take quite a bit more time, I think, to do an actual photo shoot and actually get all these pieces and everything. So I think this is a really cool use case, and it's not really a style that I do, so I wanted to kind of test out flexing skills in this area. I'm not going to post it or anything, but just kind of thought it might be fun to see how I would tackle this if I did have to make something like this, and it was an easy way to utilize not having to like make many assets and just pull stuff from Quixel and kind of show how that whole process works, which I've been trying to use a little bit more in my own work and actual stuff that I do, just to kind of get like ideation. And I think you've been doing this too, Olaf, a bit, which you've done some really cool renders using just like playing around with like lighting and stuff. Hey, yeah, see ya. Thanks for stopping by, dude. But yeah, Olaf's been doing a lot of really cool stuff with kind of Quixel, and we can actually pull it up. Just go over to Instagram. Go Olaf. He's been doing these really cool things, which have been like quick little exercises with some Quixel assets and just getting like cool kind of like sketches out. I think of these kind of not like, they're not really everydays. Everydays I feel like have their very own kind of genre and look and feel to them and different like purpose, but these ones that Olaf is doing are pretty cool. I've just kind of taken a couple assets, not really thinking about like the creation of the assets, and more just kind of thinking about like it as kind of a photographer or like a director and just kind of making cool frames. Yeah, this one's really cool, just like the scale of everything. And he did some sweet, like he always does, filmic compositing on top of it. But what we're going to be jumping into is kind of continuation of like how I would go about creating something in the vein of this. And this is kind of after, you know, like maybe two-ish, maybe an hour and a half of actual work on it. This is kind of where we got it. Still very much in its infancy. A lot of last stream was kind of going about picking out different parts of like what we want to be using. Hey, what's up, Cornelius? What time is it over there where you're at? I feel like it's probably super late. How's the hike that I went to? That was actually super cool. Yeah. Me and my wife went up to Woodstock, a little like in 2 hours ish out of the city here in New York, and it was super nice to like escape the city with all the pandemic and stuff. It's 3:10 a.m. Wow, why are you up? Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. Are you like an insomniac or something, or just could just be like working? 6 a.m. over there in India. That's insane. Thanks for deciding that spending all your time here. Yeah, India would be cool. That'd be, I've never been anywhere remotely over in that area. I think like the most overseas I've been is like London and then like France, which were super fun. yeah, travel will be super great once everything is not insane. That'll be really cool. But yeah, so yesterday's was kind of setting all this up. Yeah, beaches over there. I never really like connect like beaches with like India, but I mean, makes sense. It's a huge place. Goa. Working, we'll hang out here for a few minutes before I head to bed. Yeah, burning the midnight oil. I would love to see what you're working on. It's always doing some cool stuff. I think I talked with you a bit. Might get you, Cornelius, on here with like an artist interview. Trying to set one up for next Saturday with a friend of mine, and then try to set those up for every kind of Saturday after that. Do like a Q&A with some people that I follow and other people in the industry and like some adjacent industries. Because I feel like I've always loved like when I can get people that like I follow on Instagram and like find interviews or like little like show and tells that they've done on the internet. I like can't ever find enough of them, so it will be fun just with the small little network that I have to kind of get people on here. But yeah, so today's stream is gonna be trying to wrap this guy up as best I can. And I mean the things that are left over, I did a little bit of work on it like 30 minutes before I went live, just like finding a better hook. I had this like really weird one that I had pulled from Quixel, but just getting a little bit better hook in there for the top of it. And then things that this stream will probably be is like building up all of our belts, system to build that. I think we're just probably gonna do like a spline wrap or something. The ropes, figuring out how to do all that should be easy. The little foam bit here that they have, I think it would be a cool thing to tackle, of like collision deformer, FFDs, figuring that out, making a nice like almost subsurface texture for it. It's pretty dense, but I feel like it has like a little bit of that like light going into it, seeing how we can work with that. I've updated this guy. Don't really like this like blocky shape that they did, but I also don't really like this like press, so I might have to figure something else out for that. Then we'll do like the ropes down here, do the belts, tying that all together. And then we had these cool, I'm just gonna jump out of this cam, we had some apples in like different little decaying states, which I thought would be cool to add in as like focus points. Let's unlock from that guy. Yeah, these apples. This is all just again from Quixel, so nothing on my part of anything cool. Might need to update that guy. He looks like he is reflective, but I don't know. It looks a little too photo scanny. This guy is also very crunchy, but I mean that's sort of accurate to what an apple would look like. I don't know. And then I mean right now we've kind of just been following like staging it just like their one, which I mean it's a very cool setup that they got going there, but might want to try like messing around with a little bit different composition, and then maybe see how this sort of setup would work in a little bit more moody of a setting. This is like very obviously like advertising, single point light is what I was kind of matching with theirs. Very clean, but and I think that's a good exercise to like work inside those like limited bounds, but I might try to do something like a little bit more moody and like neon, see how that would work, kind of as a contrasted thing if we've got time. If not, we'll just kind of settle with whatever we figure out here. Then we got to do the backdrop, figure out a fun color for that. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be going over, so might as well just jump into it. So the first thing, that hook is fine. I just like generic kind of just like steel, like aluminum on it. Just like, I think I just set it to like cubic, so we might have to check in on that. This geometry is a little terrible. I think it was like an STL file, something on like CG Trader that I pulled off. It's not the worst, but it's not amazing. Hey, that's my wife. Hi, Maddie. Sitting in our living room, watching. I think she's watching Home Alone. Render Boy 3000. That's our like joke of, I don't know how that came to be like a nickname for whenever I'm doing my renders and stuff, but that's kind of become what we call it. Yeah, I don't really like all this Fong stuff. Would it be terrible to throw this into like a volume builder, which I know is not a modeling tool, but we could. So split out that part, and I think the rest of this, other than this guy, just gonna split him out so he seems fine. Just get rid of that, and then this is all one chunk, right? Oh, this guy. Split him out. Just delete it there. So I think all of this piece could be put into the volume builder. Yo, 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 Zach. I think you have like perfect attendance for all of these streams, which is super nice. Yeah, we're just continuing. I got us a new hook from last time. A little bit better, a little bit more in the vein of what they were doing. And right now it has horrible geometry, so I'm just going to try to fix that without crashing the machine. Just going to go volume mesher, builder. So, oh yeah, this is something that I do a ton. So, inside of this, so if we go here, just like get this chunk. If you just hit U, there's like this huge kind of menu system. I'm pointing at the screen, you won't see that, of like shortcuts, and UP will split whatever you've selected just into a new object. And then it will make that your current selection, and then it doesn't delete it by default from what you're working on, but then you could like go back and hit delete there, and now you have two separate objects. And I do that a bunch for like when you bring in a asset and it's like all mangled like this one, and you just want to quickly like start chopping pieces up. A lot of times, like when you get kind of like an STL or something, or like something from like Moi 3D, and it comes over, you'll have like, you can do like double click and get a selection of geometry, if they did it right, and then I kind of just like split those out. I think there is another faster method where you can like explode something into like all of the little sections. So if I just go into a different scene and test this theory out, Control N. So if we just like have cubes and we think of them all as individual objects, see if this method works, and then we go like give them all a bunch, and then NF to get into this like hard wire shade mode. Go C, and then collect all objects, and delete. So then we have this, but what I was doing was like double clicking, and because this is all contained as like one piece of geo, you can double click and get these, or you can do UF is another like way to select single objects. But I think if we go into mesh commands, cut, no. It's conversion, no. Okay, maybe it's polygon groups to objects. I don't think that is, but maybe that is it. Hey, cool. So if we get this guy, now we have, so that's a faster way you could do it. You can do polygon groups in the conversion and split something that was like if someone's trying to like make it just a single file, and it was at one point a bunch of different objects, and they do what we did where they like connect all objects and delete, you can kind of just select everything and go conversion polygon groups. I'm sure that's in that menu. So if we go U, is there like there's split, optimize, path selection. I'm not seeing it, so maybe it's not in the U. No, I don't see it in this list, so maybe I do have to go through that menu, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm like looking and I don't see it. Yeah, okay, so it doesn't look to be in there. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was doing with that. Saves, it just makes it a lot easier to kind of work on things individually. So if we go here, this guy and this guy will go into the volume measure. These might get messed up because they're like fit to those pieces, but oh well. Hopefully it will retain most of its shape. Let's get these guys turned off. I don't know if I want to do them together. No, I want to do them separately. So volume builder. Is that what that looks like in this view? That's not helpful. My viewport is majorly messed up. Okay, maybe we stay in this section. NA. It's very upset going into crowd shading. Weird. Guess I'll just keep it like this. Maybe I'll pull this all in just a different scene. Just Control N, paste it. There we go. That looks a lot better. Wonder why I was getting upset. And then just hit this guy and hit S. We'll go in there. And this volume voxel size is way too big. Just cut it. Cut it again. Cut it again. Hopefully I'll be able to do that like adaptive setting, so we don't have a huge like million polygon thing, because this is not that important. But let's go down again. 0.025. That looks crisp. And then maybe add a smooth. Yeah, see, I want like all this junk to be figured out. Oh, I wonder if before I do that, I take this guy and give him a smooth deformer. If I can help fix that jankiness. Nope, not that guy. Yeah, that's way too much. Okay. Maybe I need to select all of it, U, Shift O to optimize and weld those points together. Maybe that will fix it for the smoothing. Nope. Let's look at this Fong. 22. That's crazy talk. Let's actually just get rid of that entirely and give it a Fong tag. Because sometimes those are broken. Okay. So it might just be the fact that there's not enough stuff there, because that's like, it's wanting to even out the spaces between these n-gons, and it's just that it's not what we want. So I guess we'll just live with the fact that it does that. We want the SDF after it. Maybe we give it another iteration. Maybe a little bit more distance of what it can smooth. Because I wouldn't hate if that was a little bit smoother. The aluminum will look good with that. Yeah, that looks fine. That looks definitely better. I mean, not loving that, but once we get sort of a little bit cleaner mesh, could probably smooth it out as actual geo. And yeah, that seems fine. What is that clip? Is it in this guy? Yeah, probably want to split that out as well. Oh, there's like a ton of detail in here. Yeah. Let's get those guys out of there. And delete them from here. Hide them. So those don't need to be smoothed out with everything else in here. Okay, so that's looking better. Put it in a mesher. Cool. And yeah, that's the great thing about using the volume mesher. But if we add up this adaptation, we should get something a little bit better. And then I wonder if I just like quickly preview this and give him this guy. Okay. So we're getting a little bit of junk there. Just not ideal, like popping. I mean, it's definitely better than before, which we were sitting with this and these really gross edges and weird geometry, which like wasn't looking great, especially here. But this, I don't know if it's a major improvement because we're getting all this like junk on the flat face, but I'm okay with it. I think it looks fine. Could probably even add this up. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna crank up this a bit more, take down this guy so our quads are need it for the detail on the edges. I'm gonna take this SDF smoothing down a radius a little bit, crisping up those edges. Maybe go to 2. Yeah, I mean, the only saving grace is that this thing is a super small part of it, but those edges are so gross. But we'll see if this works. I'll keep those guys there. Current state to object. Turn these guys off for computing purposes. Turn this guy off. And then see if we can use the smooth now to like help these little jaggedy parts. That's awful. Okay, so that does not help us. So relaxing. Better. Not great, but not great, is it? I guess we could also, I was also thinking something else. What if I took our original hook, which has this nasty geometry, and then if we throw in, because I mean the most that I hate about this is whatever's happening there, and then our edges are just, I mean, horrible. So I wonder if I take a bevel. I wanted to do the shift. Yeah, that's perfect. No, that's not what I want. And go solid. Bring us down by a ton. That's great. That's awesome. Love it. It's not at all what I want to be happening. So now we have this like crisp edge there. That's unfortunate. Why is that happening? Let me turn off this guy. Where is that spawning from? So all of these gross. Oh, there's like already a bevel in the gross CAD data. This is why it's helpful to be good at hard surface modeling, kids. Because then you can fix this way faster because you can just model the whole thing. What I was wanting to do was use this bevel as a solid to like, I use this a lot to make like a quick and dirty edge, like safe cut. Those are really gross. What if we do a smooth after that? Because now we've kind of protected that edge. No. It's just not gonna do it. It's helping a bit, but not really in the ways we want. This is much worse. Well, what I was hoping is we could do this kind of safety cut, and then just throw this guy in like subdivision, and we would help everything. But that's even worse. That's very gross. So I guess we go with this guy and kind of just take it with its junky edges for now. It's not a hero element, and I would probably try my best to retopo this if we have time, but for this I will just kind of leave it. And then for this mapping, we'll go cubic. And probably needs to be way smaller. Probably even smaller. Cool. It's looking nice. Okay. So that's our top piece figured out. And then gotta get this bottom guy in there. So I'll just swap them out. And start building that guy. It's gonna calculate for a bit, right? Okay, there it goes. Oh, are we in a mode that I can't see? No, we should be able to show us that. Do I have to like click both of them on? Okay, so this is what it thinks this one should be. I mean, not terrible. Again, a little bit of those weird parts, but overall livable. Current state to object. We're gonna get rid of this. Set this guy to cubic as well. 10 and 10. Cool. And then when we turn everybody else on, they will fit, hopefully. That piece could go in probably. I'm just gonna get all these guys. They're all cubic. All 10 by 10. Okay. Select these guys. Hook. Throw everybody else in there. Cool. Turn that off. Jump back. And then get all this stuff. Delete it. And just replace these guys wherever they were. Okay, so there's our hook at the top. We're gonna put our cable through and everything. Oh, I need to send over that texture that we were gonna use for the cable and for the rope. Or did I already send the rope? This looks like fabric here sent through. That's the rope one. But it looks like I didn't send over the carpet or the cable one. Okay, so I'll just send over that one. This guy, export. Last stream it was like bogging down a ton between exporting and importing those. But hopefully it will figure itself out. Maybe not. It exported. But I don't see it in here. Did it send it to this scene? I'm just gonna close these guys so it doesn't send it to the wrong one. Maybe I'll just... Oh, converting 3 of 6 textures. Okay, well, in the meantime, I'm gonna turn off our apples. Go back to our list. So we got our hook set up. Belts, rope, foam. Yeah, the foam's gonna be an interesting thing. I didn't figure out a good texturing for it, but I was thinking that maybe we could use, because I'm on Redshift version 3, and in that one you can now use cinema textures. So I did previously in like a different thing, in a different talk I did for Maxon, show kind of how to make beer foam, and it's kind of, I feel like, the similar approach that I'm going to take for this, of making those like little tiny holes with some like cellular noise. So that might be a fun approach. Okay, so our fabric is in here. Now I gotta draw it. First, I think... what's the best approach for this? Maybe I'll draw it from just this perspective first. So, let's look at theirs. So they got it like going through here, hits that like corner, because it's got to keep everything tight. So maybe first I'll just do like a loose like linear. And then I will sweep like a shape. Yeah, they got this like belt thing here, like clamp, that I didn't feel like finding or modeling. So what could we do instead? It could just be a whole belt. Oh well. And with like, I don't know if we need the strap hanging down. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna like quickly hit all of our points that this thing has to be attached to. It's gotta hit there. And then it goes under there, I think. Touches this guy, goes up. Hits there, comes around. Gets caught on that edge. I don't think that's... Yeah. Then we go in the top view. So I mean that's proper for most of it. Jump out of our perspective. So this guy will probably need to be 2. So just MK, get another dot there. Bring this guy over, this guy up. So we have the rough like layout of what this is gonna look like. Grab our dot. So right now I'm just looking for like all the intersections that it currently has. Trying to like lay it out. This guy comes in until it hits there. Could come down. Okay. Then we got our corner here. It's gonna need to go back. And up. Because it's gotta also be centered with all these objects that it's hitting. This one can come in a bit. Probably go out too. Yeah, it looks fine. Ooh, that guy's already got its little feet on it. Yeah. Should be fine. Mark this guy back a bit. I don't know how realistic this strap will look. Hoping this will work out. And then, yeah, did they go under? Yeah, they went under in front and then swung it back instead of like through. So I'll see if I can do that. So like went under in front. And that's how they got around that like pedestal thing. So we'll probably need another marker here. Drop this guy down. Swing him over. Yeah, something like that. Goes under the beam. Get this guy. Drop him down. Oh, you go way up. Okay. Close. Okay. So then if... Why is that one so crazy far away? Is that what looked correct? Oh, I thought it would go under again. No, it's actually in the clear. So just take this guy. Yo, thanks for stopping by, Cornelius. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. have a good rest of your night there over in Germany. Crazy lad staying up till 3 a.m. Yeah, that will work. Touch that little edge there. Go up and secure around our brick. Scooch it in. Cheat that edge a bit. Might need to add a couple more here, because like technically it can go in, and then we'll have to make another cut. Bring that guy out a bit until he's not touching, so that looks right there. Yeah, this rock's going to be a bit harder of a shape. We're going to put that guy there. Another cut here. Kind of bolster that. I could probably just have simulated this, but this seemed like the smarter option. I'm now doubting that. It's gonna be flush with the camera, so probably don't even need to go this detailed into it. And then we'll go up to this guy and drop him down. Yeah. Okay. So this will be our first shape. This doesn't convince me that that would work. Theirs does. Mine does not. Because it like seems to go back and then it like comes forward a bit. But that is all in the middle, and this seems a little bit crazy. But maybe it's like tugging on it. So maybe it is convincing. I think if anything, the ones right here are what are throwing me off. They need to come back. There we go. Yeah, that will work a bit better. So bring this guy down. Maybe a cut in the center. Oh, well, didn't want to start using those yet, but yeah, that seems correct. Ah, and then we got our plant in the way. Didn't even think about that. Okay, well, gonna have to like rotate this guy in more than I wanted to get him out of the way of that. And it's clipping into there, but I don't know if it's enough. Okay. I mean, that should be fine, right? Yeah, okay. Start to lose a little bit of that with its angle, but I might actually. Okay, I'm just gonna give a bend deformer to this guy. And the bend deformer never works the way you want it to on the first try. Okay, so that's not terrible. We're just gonna reverse that. Like this. 180? No. So this is bending that way. So its base is wrong to start out with. I want this guy. Maybe I'm not even going to use the... I just want this to... What do I want to do? I want it like this way. That's the base. I want to flip it around. Because I want... And then bring it up. Make it way smaller. Nope. This one. Bring it up. I'm just going to try to tilt the end of this guy, this little plant, back towards the camera to get a little bit more of the part we're losing here. So if I go, does that look too unnatural? I think that looks fine. Maybe I'll slide it back a bit so it seems to start from cool. So we don't lose it as much. And that still looks like a plausible direction this plant would go in. And then I don't think this will be an issue. I might though, because it's gonna be a bit wider. Okay. Ooh. That could be a cool idea. Yeah, like maybe just for this little bit, bend that little piece back. Yeah. If that's what you were saying. If not, I do think this will work though. So just kind of take another piece like this guy, and then I'm just gonna make it a bit smaller, and I'm just gonna bend that little guy back. Just gonna hit W because these axes are getting crazy. Is that lined up? No, it's not. Is that lined up? Looks to be encompassing it enough. Let's turn that on. Which way do we want to bend it? Don't mind that other guy. That's fine, but I might bend it that way and then angle it also a little bit out of the way. So we might not even need that much of a bend. And then I'm just going to make like a spherical fall off inside of where this is. Yeah. And just move it like right to that edge. And maybe bring in the other radius. Just so this little tiny piece bends back. And hopefully I can get that to work. That's a good call. Yeah, now it kind of will sell a little bit more that when this strap is by there and the width that it has, it will like be pushing this leaf. Cool. Okay, I'm just gonna turn these guys off because they are annoying. That works. I'm also gonna turn off our work plane. Okay. So for these other parts of our main spline, I think they need to be finessed a bit. Maybe I'll select all of them. and they need to be made into soft edges. And then I'm just gonna play with this, hopefully get them all working together. This guy's gotta be I mean, it seems, I think I just want to like round these like edges off a bit, but I mean, it's like that one's a bit, yeah, that's rounded, but like it seems like a lot of these are actually pretty tight. They're like, they don't have too much of this like fall off. Like from this one to this one, I don't know if it would arc like that. So try to tone that down. Then I think if you want to work on a single one, you're just holding Shift D. Or just Shift and then select the one you want to work on. So like this guy needs to come down a bit. I don't think these edges need to be that rounded. Mostly just, I'm thinking for these sort of ones. I mean, that kind of seems to have fixed most of it on its own. Make sure those are lined up. Not much you can go wrong with there. And then this guy's gotta get lined up. Oh, he's very off. Yeah, the problem with this is that you can quickly get like goofy looking shapes. Like that, like this like weird Q looking thing. Like, yeah, that's not what we want. It's like all off. What are we looking at here? Somehow this has gone awry very quickly. The pains of working in 3 dimensions. Come on, just look where you're supposed to be going. Okay, seem to be back where they should be. And then that goes down there. This guy's gotta go centered a bit. This has to go way that way. That looks right. That is comically large. I don't know, that might be. Yeah, that one's needs to be a bit tighter. That seems fine. Get these guys. These ones were kind of like overcut, but something like this might need to just be toned down a bit. That will work. Then like points like this could go back and be like hard, but then like chamfered a bit. See if that looks better. So that will like help sell this. So that's what I might do on the frame ones. Go back, hard interpolation, chamfer, just re-edit. That way they can still like get that like clean edge here, but then have like a little bit thicker of like a bend around versus being that hard point. That will work. Yeah, I don't know, this still, I'm not sold on this. Maybe it needs to be more on the edge there. I don't know. Just seems like a very extreme angle for that curve. But go chamfer. Yeah. And then this guy. Oh, did I do it twice? I did. Hard edge. I think the chamfer, the other ones were like 4.4. Cool. Hard edge. Chamfer 4x4. And then pull it just out a bit. Cool. Haha, reminder, yeah. I need like to set the Nightbot to that. I have autosaves running in the background, so worst case we're covered like every 10 minutes. But yeah, I always forget. I like get really into these, and that's why I kind of like set it up to go. I have it like set to a different drive too, so that I can, because I like let it just fill up. But yeah, always good to save. Okay, so we have that built. And then I'm just going to sweep. A lot could go wrong in 10 minutes. But hopefully not too much progress could be lost in 10 minutes. But yeah, always good to save. So for the sweep shape, because like I don't want to just do like a rectangle or like a plane that I want to sweep around, I could either sweep like from another spline or sweep like a object that I kind of like make. But I think I'm gonna sweep a spline and then texture to that. So what I was thinking is maybe I'll just do this in a separate file. Go over here. And this is just going to be like out for a bit, and then like the smallest little maybe I'll do it in like lines first. Yeah. Wow, that is ugly, but that could be simplified. Let's do that again. All I want is these guys to be 4. These guys to be 4.29. These guys to be like 4.6. These guys to be a 4.8. Does that not move them together? I didn't. It's annoying. Okay, move those ones together. Okay, moved everybody else except those. And so what I'm gonna do here is just try to like, maybe these need to go up too. Make that like kind of, not like a seatbelt, but like that like little bit of like reinforcement that some of these straps have. It's not as dramatic as I drew it, but hoping that if I like sweep a shape like this, it will catch kind of like rounded, have like a little bit more of a rounded edge than like a bevel, because it also goes in a bit. So let's also make these not as grossly separated. And then what if everybody goes and is a B-spline? Just to fix my horrible drawing. That's not bad. I'll take that. That's close to what I wanted. Yo, what's up, everybody? So you're living with freelance jobs only. Thanks for the follow. And in New York, can't believe it. Yes, I do freelance for a living in New York. And it's been going well. I've been doing it since July of last year, full-time freelance. I work with studios, so it's not like direct to the client. I work for studios and brought in as like a 3D artist, and then they just like put me on different jobs based on like what they think I would be like the best at for the jobs. What are we making? So right now I'm making a spline, and I need to remember what I'm using it for. Alright, so I'm just going to copy this, bring it back to our setup, and then I can go back to this camera and we can see what we're making. We are making kind of like just building off the idea of this render that I'll show you in a second. So that's what we're working with right now, kind of like an abstract, funky composition of just different stuff, kind of like an everyday, not really, but directly inspired by this ad by 6 and 5. And kind of just showing how I would go about tackling making something like this. So a lot of these assets are from Quixel, so I didn't like model much of it. Last stream yesterday, built like the frame and stuff, and then laid out a lot of what the assets that we pulled from Quixel, what we're going to be using. And right now we're kind of building this kind of like belt little clamp thing. So that's what we're doing right now. Gonna hopefully wrap this up in like the next hour and a half. Just got to do the ropes and then this like foam bit, and then kind of tweak a lot of our textures and lighting. What course did you learn at your college? So I went to college in Michigan, a small kind of art college. It was called Kendall, KCAD, Kendall College of Art and Design, and I took a course that was just called like digital media. That's what it was called. And it was kind of like generalist. A lot of the people that went into that were more into like traditional 2D animation in like Flash, or like character design for like games, and that sort of thing, like digital painting. So there wasn't really a lot of like this sort of like cinema or 3D really. And yeah, kind of like someone said, just YouTube. I mean, I started originally in After Effects, and like Element 3D from Video Copilot was like my first like gateway, I would say, into 3D. And then from that jumped like into cinema and like Grayscale Gorilla, back when it was just like mostly Nick making like one-off tutorials, and then just kind of absorbed all of that, and then it just kind of like butterfly effected out into a bunch of different other stuff. And then, you know, from cinema started picking up stuff like Houdini, more recently, like in the past year or so. But yeah, I would say YouTube mainly. If I were starting now and I didn't want to like, I mean, because I was in college, I like cracked and got like a cracked version of Cinema 4D. But now I totally pay for it. Now that I do it professionally, but as a student I just like got whatever I could. It was like R like 14, but I would maybe jump into Blender just because it's free and it seems to be a really good tool if you're just gonna like want to jump into 3D. You just graduated with a bachelor's animation VFX, but it seems like I learned a lot from YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I think college was great to kind of teach me the other like non-YouTubeable things, like, you know, how long certain things take me for like homework assignments and like managing time, that sort of stuff. I mean, art history, kind of those like deeper ideas that I think were super, you know, useful to go to college for. But I think the biggest one would be like the like friends and stuff that I made at college that I still like have today. Is something that I don't think I would have been able to like make on my own, and like the connections and like push to do internships. So I think you could, you know, go to college, not go to college, and be fine either way, depending on like if you know yourself and which one would be best for you. But for me, going to college was a good push into like doing and figuring out like what I didn't like doing. Like graphic design was like my minor, and I found that I didn't really like a lot of what graphic design was. And then I found that I really liked more of like VFX, CGI, 3D stuff. And so, yeah, so then I just taught myself stuff from YouTube. But that's when I had like no money. I definitely think there's a big case for like getting courses. Like there are a lot of amazing courses out there now that people make that are available online for like a couple $100 here and there. And I think you could really like build yourself your own sort of like your own sort of like college course based off of these little courses that you pick up on the internet. Maddie, I'm so happy that you went to college. Yeah, that's where I met my wife. That's Maddie. So definitely worth it. Go to college, find your wife. That is my message. But back to our renders. Yeah, but thanks for everyone for stopping by and having questions. It always makes this a lot easier. It's very weird to kind of having like talk to nobody, but when there's active questions, that's great. So this is that's kind of the shape I was going for with a B-spline. B-splines really do save you. I do it a lot where I just draw in linear and get this like blocky, junky shape, and then just go to the B-spline. And then you don't have to like mess with all those handles. You can kind of just pick these guys and it will make a nice shape for you. So maybe we'll just tweak these a bit. Bring that guy in. And it'll also give us like a non-computery shape because it will do like a slight curve there. It might look weird because it's gonna like, I'm gonna duplicate this on either side, but hopefully not. And then let's throw this in a symmetry. Yeah, that is the #1 gripe. I mean, there's costs of every field. Like my wife works in fashion, and like if she wants to do a project, she has to like buy fabric and buy all these like different parts of things if she just wants to like test something out. And so in this sense, like if I wanted to do this photo shoot to test out this sort of style, I'd have to like find or buy all this stuff. So in that side, it's not as expensive in some areas, but I definitely feel you for like this bar down here. I think, yeah, like, I mean, some of these are like trials, like that's like free nuke. That's like there's other stuff down here, but I mean, like this bar down here to own all this is like a couple grand's worth of programs, which is kind of insane. But if it becomes your profession, it's really not that expensive in the long run. You pay it off pretty quickly, depending on where you're doing it and what your place's rates are. But I would say it's a pain and it hurts in the like as a student because but a lot of places are better at making like those more free student ones. But yo, your minor was in fashion design. That's cool. Yeah, shit. We have like a couple crossovers where like Marvelous Designer and stuff like that. Like she knows how to make like actual patterns for that, and then like all the little like technical things of like all the where to sew stuff and where to like have a little bit more fabric for technical things. And so we've done a couple like little fun projects of like making dresses and stuff and like putting them on like dancing bears. But yeah, it's fun that our fields have a little bit of crossover. She like works in like Illustrator and stuff, and so those things I'm sort of familiar with. So what am I doing here? I'm gonna take this guy and sweep it around our other shape. That's what I'm doing here. I think it's like a little bit too big, but we'll see. actually really quick. Just gonna go to the side view. Flip this guy to see how wide it is. Yeah, it's a bit too wide. I want it to be a little bit smaller. Then I might also just like crunch it down. Make it, yeah, a little bit, a little bit less exaggerated. Let's see if that transfers over well. I mean, in theirs, I can't quite tell how thick it is. I think it's thinner than their frame, so maybe I'll make it smaller again even. Yeah, seems good. We should get some Iris Van Herpen 3D printing going on. I don't even know what that means, but apparently Maddie knows what that means. Maybe I'll Google that. Is that a safe thing to Google? Maybe I'll Google it in this. I don't know. I just feel like fashion might pull up things that Twitch doesn't. Iris Van Herpen. Oh yeah, I think yeah, she's like shown me this stuff. These like crazy cool like tech sort of things. That's 3D printing. That's insane. Yeah, that stuff's crazy. Ooh, I feel like this might be a cool thing to like try and like Houdini. I feel like a lot of this just screams like Houdini and like functions that could like generate stuff like that. That'd be interesting. Try to generate stuff and then like use vellum and like runway models. This stuff's cool. Very like nature, but also very tech. That's cool. Yeah, we could try something like that. Yeah, maybe we would do like a stream where we try to figure out how to do some more tests with her like fashion and marvelous designer and like Houdini and stuff. So this belt needs to be swept along this guy. I always get that confused. Oh, I think it's gonna be a pain. So that's not sleeping properly. It's the wrong axis. Whew, that is some hefty geo, but let's rotate. That should work, right? I grab these guys and just bring it down. Maybe from -90 to 90. No. That's not the number. Yeah, I guess I do have to. Oh, okay. What was the number that looked right? So whatever this is looks correct. Or maybe we go up. Flip it this way. 0.75. That looks correct. Whoa, that's gross. That's not what I want. Okay. I mean, for these guys, it seems correct. I mean, it's a little off. Okay, that seems a little bit better. And then it seems to go good through there. Down here is a little bit gross. It like banks weird. And then banks weird there. Banks weird there. Okay. So what's the best way to fix this? I could mess with, because I mean this starts there, ends here. So this is correct. And this is correct. So now I have to figure out Is that the best way to do this? I think it is. Like where these are. So that's already down there. Because I want to fix the mess that's happening there. Yeah, I could add more points to the spline. I don't know if, because what I want is a little bit better banking. Does theirs stays all not flipped around? Okay. So like in this spline, I mean, the only thing I think adding points will do is help like that, like subdivision. Like it will add that sort of thing. But what I want to do is adjust the banking of this around so that like it doesn't cut through. But I don't think adding points will adjust that very much. Will rotating these? Slightly, but no. I think I have to go through and adjust it on this single slider. Let's make this a bit bigger. Okay. Could different FFDs be used per section? Maybe. Ooh, instead of FFDs, isn't there like a twist? Could I just abuse a ton of twists in each spot to like bend it around? There's a twist. Yeah. Let's drop that down. Let's throw this guy in a null. Drop that below. I want the twist to be 16 by 16. Yeah, could go smaller. Then if I bring it up here, which way does this twist? Okay. Okay, that twists everything within box. Okay. Can I twist things now? And then this is where I may want to, instead of doing adaptive, go natural. No, not natural. Uniform? Yeah. Give us a bit more subdivisions for this guy. That is not smooth whatsoever. So maybe we do limited, and then we make a box fall off. Okay, so now we have like twist control for these sections, but that now looks very janky. I think, okay, so FFD, let's try that one. Let's go here, drop down FFD. Move it up here. Make it, well, let's just see if I like drop it there, then I go into the points of the FFD, and like what I want to do with this guy is rotate them. Okay. So, I mean, closer. Maybe I need to make it longer first. Then go in here. Then try rotating it. Then could try moving it. Feel like this will mess up the like flow of everything. This might need to be like adjustment here as well, because like I made it cut through like that, but it may need to go something more like this, like it goes up diagonally through, and then like this guy's also rotated. That might help us here a little bit. And then I feel like right now I have it like going flat there, but maybe I should have it arching like up through this section. That might help it feel a bit better. Just turn the spline on. Okay. Better. Not great. Better. But what if I try taking a rotation? So I mean, even if it's rotated properly, that is not what we want. Might also swap where our spline starts, because I don't really want it starting like up there. I feel like a good spot would be hiding it under here in this transition that we don't see. So just click that guy and go to point order, set first point. So now you can kind of see it in the blue. So now this is going to start in this direction here. I believe in our sweep will be, yeah, following from here forward and then coming in this way down through there. So it goes, I feel like it goes counterclockwise like that around and across. So I bend this. If I bring this all the way over, I bend it just there. Yeah. Okay. So with that being there, we can know that this guy needs to be flat there. Go up. Be a little bit different. Oh, come on. Okay, we need. Okay, where is that edge? Okay, the edge is there. But this also might be a spline issue. You need to just like bump it out a bit. Give it a little bit more leeway before it starts to bend back up. Okay, and we'll just follow this around. That seems correct up here. What are we looking at here? Okay, so we go up there. Might need to bring this guy out a bit so it doesn't intersect as much. Okay, so we go up. Looking good. All of this stuff, I'm gonna say is fine. A little bit of intersection there. Maybe we can pull something out. Pull something out there. Yeah. Okay. So that's working. And that looks flush with it. Go up to this guy. Looks fine. And then we go up. Whoop. Go up to this guy. So on our rotation, let's see where we're sitting. We're gonna want to like rotate like that, which seems like that would be an issue. Okay, so I'm just trying to find like where we are on our map here. So it looks like we're sitting like right here. So I'm gonna move this guy back a little bit because I want it to kind of be sitting right on that joint. That fall off is. There we go. I'm gonna rotate that guy so we get a bit of it. And I think this will also be kind of finessing our point here out of the way. Oh, you know what we could do? I'm making this really hard on myself. Just fix the freaking hook. Make it a little bit easier to go through. I mean, it might mess up this, like, won't be able to see as much of it, but if that makes the stuff going through it easier, might just be the best course of action. Okay, back to the spline. And then I think the weirder part is that like right after it, we need to go back the other direction. Just might get rid of this for a second. Yeah, that's close to what I'm looking for. I want it to be flat in there and then rotate like back to something a little bit later on. At this corner, it's got to rotate back to that spot. There we go. Okay, so I mean, from this side it looks right. I think the problem is that I'm gonna need it to like curve up a bit on either side there, because everything else is like pretty close. So maybe for these corner bits, especially that guy. This guy doesn't matter as much, I don't think. But I'll go back and maybe like add a bend deformer up there to help those along. Because everything else seems like it should be. As long as I fix the spline. Should be pretty much fine with sitting a little off kilter there, but that seems fine. And this corner seems fine. Oh, that's actually messed up a bit, but maybe I'll go down and put a point there, a point here, fix that rotation for it. And then this one's all mangled, but that's fine. Just rotate it. Get the spline down a bit. And we're good. Because no one, we won't see that with the camera. Oh, that one got messed up. How? Oh, there we go. Okay. How did this one get messed up? What is happening? Okay. Fix that, and then now for up here. Bend deformer. Gonna make one, make it way smaller. Make it a little bit thinner. Well, let's see where it's bending first. It's bending that way, okay. So bring it in the X. Rotate it this way. Let's bring it up there. And try to just work it on just that section. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Just what I wanted. No. Gonna go limited. Again, box fall off. Shrink it way down. Just to here. Bend it up. Oh, this is gross. Keep Y distance. And then for our box fall off, this guy could probably come over. Okay, I mean, not traditional, but maybe the Y distance should come up a bit. And then it should all go back. Ugh, that guy's really sticking up there. I mean, that's all working great, but... Aha. Okay. I mean... could fool me. I don't think we'll see that other piece, so not too worried about it. So it like goes up and goes over there. Bend deformers. Lazy modeling. Let's add some more subdivisions for that. And then for this guy, uniform. No. I just want this middle section to have a bit more, so maybe I'll just cut it wherever this guy is. Just give him a couple more. Need to go from this side. So maybe we'll just add, you know, some there, some there, some there. That will help it along, I think. How did those all get so many cuts? How are there so many cuts there? Only did one cut. Multiple. It's weird. That should help with the subdivisions. Somehow worse. Let's Control Z our way back. Save that, and I think it should just be fine. Plugin Recall by Rocket Lasso. I didn't look much into it. I like watched the promo video he put out. $109. Wow. Maybe I just don't understand what it does, and that's why. Also, when I looked at it, I was like, "Wow, that seems expensive for what this is." But yeah, maybe I just don't know what it does properly. It kind of looked like it had a bunch of multiple different things that it did. I thought the really cool part of it was the fact that you could like kind of, I do it a bunch where like I'll have like a node, or not a node, but like what's it called? A procedural. There it is. A procedural like setup, and then I'll like make it like up here, and I'll turn it off, and I'll like call it like OG setup, and then I'll like bake it down to like use different stuff on top of it. But it seemed like his tool would be like you wouldn't have to do that. You just like store it in a recall thing and then bring it back whenever. But it also seemed to do a bunch of other stuff, like store colors and materials. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. It looked cool, but I don't know if it's overpriced. If it can do a bunch of other things, if it just does that one function of like bringing back different setups, seems a little bit much, but it looks like it did a bunch of other stuff. I'll just have to like look into understanding it. Okay, so we have our little thing here. Now to apply its texture. So let's look at that. Look at our little rubber band. Oh, we're like, yeah, so that like little bit of modeling, I just wanted this like thick edge thing to it. So we go back to our view. I mean, definitely not as good as theirs, but it definitely gets the idea across that it's like there's like tension between this thing. And we got it to go through there, which was all counted as a win. So let's texture this thing now. So we have our strap texture. Gonna go cubic for this. Oh man, it's facing the wrong way. Let's just go in this guy and rotate it. That should fix it. Okay. Right? Oh no. No, it's not going to fix it because it's thinking of like cubic in the world, and this thing's like traveling through different sections. Would it really touch the frame on the bottom left? No. That's what I was thinking about. That guy right there. I don't know if it would. I don't think it would. That is a good call. Because, yeah, it's not very natural for it to touch there. So, I mean, theirs does, but, yeah, let's save. And then get rid of those points in there and see if we miss it. Why is it still going in there? What is happening? Oh, so now it's going like in front of it. Essentially the same exact layout. But I think that maybe we don't need it to rotate there. Oh yeah, we do, because it meets up down there. Yeah, so it looks like it's still touching it, but it's in perspective, not touching it. But now about this UV layout system. If we just go this way, it's all messed up, right? Yeah, those UVs are gross. Stick UVs. What if we do that? And do cubic. Still gross. Yep, still gross. Because like what I want to do is just like, it's pretty simple. I just want to get those like one little stripe on this guy going around the whole thing. And I don't really want to UV map it. Yeah, it does look natural that way. Yeah, I think I forced it to touch that because I was like, oh, touch all the edges of the frame, but this actually looks cooler. And I think our frame would still float logically because it has like this pressure. I don't think it would fall out. You do have to add the foam in there. That's the next little bit. But this strap texture, I normally don't really texture sweeps very often, but what's the best way to go about this? I was hoping that cubic could get us there. It won't. So if we go flat, that's also gonna provide issues. Because it's not gonna respect the shape. That's unfortunate. Looks like we're gonna have to stick with the UV mapping that this thing's already got. Okay. So if we offset this way. I don't get why this thing is so upset about why these don't have UVs. Maybe it's because I'm using the symmetry. Wonder if we pause this, keep this set up. Besides, I guess where recall would be cool, so that I could do all this without that. Go in here, turn that off. So I gotta join these guys. Join. close spline. Where's that going? Weird. This is not. Turn that back off. Yeah, I mean, I think what's messing it up is the symmetry, because it looks like this has UVs and this is just like an infinite continuation. So I think if I just make this spline an actual thing, it will respect it. I just need to join these guys together, and they weren't really working with the joint. Do I want to weld. I want to weld this guy and this guy. Come on. Oh, here we go. Bring this guy closer again. Get both of them. Weld. Okay. Get these two guys. And weld them here. Okay. So this is now a single object, I believe. It's not. I was hoping it would be. Come on. Weld together. We need to make it a closed object. And now it goes into nothing. So we don't want that. Ooh, that made like a crazy. Come on, join segments. So that works. Does that work as a thing? Okay. Maybe that will fix the UVs. Because now it's an actual spline object. Hey, there we go. So the UVs are actually still pretty gross, but maybe I need to fix this guy. Because when I made it into this spline, it baked the B splines. So I actually need to take this guy and then mirror it. Take these two, make them linear, connect objects and delete. Ooh, connecting the object. That may also help the UVs. Then we go in here. I'm gonna take those points again like we did before. Slide them over. Select these guys, weld them here. Select these guys, weld them there. Okay, so then we can make this a B-spline again. Cool. And sweep it again. And it's all messed up. How did I mess that up? I have horribly mangled our great. How did that mess it up so bad? I don't know how that messed it up so bad. So yeah, let's go with this OG one. See if we drop this into a connect. And then bring down its tolerance. And add the... Nah, it's still upset. Oh, you mean connect for the... Yeah, that makes sense. For this guy. So this guy goes in a connect. Will that give it proper UVs across the whole thing? Okay. Okay, that's better. Now I just have to... Oh. And now it like goes out. And the UVs are also symmetry. Which is great. Yeah, it's like bunging up on these edges here, which is not great. And the underside face is not amazing. Ooh, it gets real mangled up there. It's unfortunate. Oh, is it because it's in a connect? Why does that happen? Oh, I guess that happened no matter what. I think I'm going to use the connect, but switch this to linear like we did before. Drop out of the sweep. Duplicate. Rotate. Take these two guys, connect objects, and delete. Throw them in a connect. Put to B-spline. So that will connect those dots there. Okay, so that seems to be working. Drop that in, get rid of this guy. Sweep. Okay, so that fixes our issues up there a bit. Not quite, still quite messed up. Maybe this needs to be. Will you see it from the camera? You will not, really. Oh, it got rid of our subdivisions because this is so tight. Should bring some of them back. Very upset about that. Weird. angled. This is not working out. This is not looking the way I wanted it to. It does look like bacon. I mean, that strap from that direction looks fine. It's the underside of the strap that I'm not too keen about, and these edges that are not cooperating. So I wonder what's a better way to approach this. So what does this look like just on a plane? Right. And so all I want is this little section. Right. But right now, I need getting part of that section. It's still symmetried from, yeah, the middle, which is weird. So I'm not using any symmetry. Wonder if I use this for its normals and stuff. If it was a real something strap, it would be the underside. Is that what that is? I mean, I'm loosely basing it off that one. It's not exactly really what I was thinking. I mean, I guess it could be. Don't really love the red coloring of it. Might want to change what those colors look like. And I think it's stretched a bit this way too. That's looking a little bit better. Well, that may have fixed some of the problems. It's not correct, but now we kind of get a similar pattern down there as we do up here, just with messing with the UVs on that. I can live with that. That's fine. Might want to make it a little bit, where'd we go? A little bit more reflective than it is. How do I keep losing? So right now it has no reflection. And I don't think it would be that reflective. Theirs isn't very reflective. But I think it might be cool to catch some highlights. Go back to our camera. Actually, really don't even see a lot of it, so it's not even that big of a deal. Let's add a color correction. Let's see what this looks like in a couple different hues. kind of like that green. I mean, the red was cool. Ooh, that's a good idea. The red could match the apple that I had in earlier. There, that I'm gonna add. Yeah. I was thinking it looked a little bit too Christmassy, like green and red, but if we have like an apple sitting somewhere, maybe that will tie in a bit better. I do want to maybe tone it down in the saturation. Just a tad. Does that look too gross? Yeah, that looks too gross. And then roughness. What roughness are we adding in there? Yeah, the roughness looks pretty much pure white. Let's get a ramp going. Is there any detail in there? No, it's just pure white. I feel like we could get some values from there. Not as contrasty, but just get something going. And then maybe, so we drop this down to like 75. Mostly white though, yeah. Just very subtle. That will be in the roughness. Port that out. And then give it a bit more reflection. I don't know how I feel about that. Kind of washes it out. See if we drop that down. Should get very reflective. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of it there. That's kind of all I really wanted. It was like just that like little bit of wax that we would see. Yeah, sort of something like that. Maybe we can tone it down. Even more. Nothing goes pure black either, so just add 10 there. Yeah, you can see it up there too, in that little reflection. Cool. So we have our strap going around. Kind of want to figure out where our apples are going to sit. I think as they trickle down to be rotting more. So if we get this guy, I think he needs to be a little bit, I'm just going to save, a little bit more saturated and a little bit more reflective, because he doesn't seem terribly reflective. There we go. And then we'll drop down a color correct for this. And drop this down. Just to gamma a bit. He looked a little washed out, and then maybe we'll go like 1.2. Ooh. 1.05. Oh, well. So without, yeah. It's like just a little bit too pink there. And maybe I'll tone it down just a bit. Darkness wise. Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking he can sit up here. Maybe nest it. Rotate it a bit. Hit that W, get the world rotation. Kind of go up. That's interesting. Kind of get this like little shape there, and then let's see, maybe get I don't know if I want all three. Maybe. Because I'm thinking like one there in this corner, and then maybe one out there, but I think that may just be too much, so I might just take that middle guy. Or, yeah. This guy. And drop him in this frame. Right on the stone. On this stone down here? Oh, on the stones on the side? Like up here? I think that adds too much heaviness over there. What about up here? I like filling this chunk. I did like it up there on the stone though. It just feels too cluttered into. I like those stones kind of with their like white, like empty space around them. So I think I'll try them out down here. Knock them over to the side a bit. It is very rotted out. Ooh, in motion. That's a cool idea. Maybe I'll leave that little guy to have that kind of in motion look. Yeah, that's pretty balanced. So I like that. Could be cool. Like falling down. I do like that kind of the consistency of this thing is that everything is like floating like to the eye but actually grounded in something. So maybe we have to figure out a way to like skewer it through there. Maybe I'll add like a beam that like makes it like a tube of glass that makes it feel like it's floating, but we still get that like idea of realism. So I'll just take this like tube and shoot it through it. Maybe only even went from like one side. Yo, how hard is it to learn Cinema 4D 1 out of 10? I think is what you're trying to say there, like ranking system. I don't know. I don't think it's that hard. It has like a wide depth of like things you can do with it. So like to do what I'm doing right now, I think other than like a couple weird things we did with like figuring out some of that stuff, I'm using it in a pretty basic way, like just kind of like using these little objects and like moving them around and scaling them and stuff. Cinema 4D, I mean, are you saying it's like greater as like a better tool or like harder to learn than Maya and Blender? Because I would think it's way easier to learn than Maya and Blender. I think it is, if you're used to like Adobe products, I feel like Cinema 4D is very easy to understand jumping from those. Yeah, easy to learn. Maya, Blender is weird just because it's free. It has like quirks kind of in the layout. They've definitely fixed it, but I would say it's a little bit harder to learn because it's not as like standardized. It doesn't have like a, as far as I know, like a super dedicated like UI team to making sure that like everyone that uses it makes it feel normal. But Cinema is simple, but also can get like complex depending on like what you're using. So like if you go in and start doing an espresso or like Pythoning, you can get some pretty complex stuff set up, but it's all kind of built on building blocks like of these like simple MoGraphy stuff. And they're definitely like adding new crazier things, like the new Neuron, I think is what it's called, which should like help it be a little bit crazier, but I think it's not that hard to learn if you want to learn it. Yeah, let's rotate this guy. Make it flush with our frame. Especially for like stuff that I'm doing right now. It's pretty easy to learn how to do all this stuff. How did I mess that up? So wrong. Trying to get like a little sticky thing that like might be holding it on here, but that will probably be even hidden by this wall, so probably not worth modeling it. So that's kind of like this floating effect, but we can maybe throw some glass on it, make it even more invisible. But if you really look for it, you'll be like, ah, it is real because we have this like thing. I like that. I like that. That's cool. I don't really love this whole section that's going on down there. Yo, what's up, Unstructured? Catching the second half of it. We made some progress. Yeah. What are we gonna do about this? We just gotta kind of add a rope, I think. Ah, foam bit. That's our next objective. Thanks for the follow, Andre Este. Hope I said that right. Yeah, I think we got like 83 followers or something, maybe 84. But hopefully I answered your question. Yeah, someone was just asking how hard is it to learn cinema, and that's kind of like a depends on what you want to do with it sort of thing. I'm a Maya main, but was looking into Blender. Yeah, I think Blender is definitely something good to look into. It's gaining popularity, and like with all its like investment from like Epic and stuff, it would be cool if it became like way more mainstream. I mean, it's pretty mainstream compared to like what it was like 5 years ago, but it's just, I mean, I've sunk like 5 years into like as much as I know into cinema that it would like kind of be a waste to try to jump into something like Maya or Blender. I mean, the jump that I made of like into Houdini was like a big enough jump that I felt like it paired well with the stuff I was doing in cinema. So like I kind of like dropped a bunch of plugins that I was doing for cinema, like Turbulence FD and X Particles, and like decided not to keep those going, instead learn those things inside of Houdini. But if you're looking for like a base camp 3D software and you don't know any of them, I would probably go with Blender because it's free and very good. So what are we doing here? Foam. We're gonna make foam. Turn our render off. This will be interesting. Just gonna take a cube and drop it down. I want it to intersect both of these a bit, and then I'm gonna rotate it to match most of the board. Ooh, that might be an issue. Yeah, I guess there's intersection, and then it's a little bit wider, but maybe it's not as deep. It's more like that kind of a block. Kind of smushed in like that. Something like that. Okay, so there's our base shape. I need to be a little bit thicker so it intersects more. Then I was thinking about this. I can get rid of that. This will be our cable. This is our hook. This. That's our background sweep. That's all our lighting. Frame will be up here. Background will be way in the back. Or let's bring it closer to the dome light. Our lighting stuff. Don't need a figure anymore. Glass cube, just cleaning up our bricks, plants, wood, everything go up. Apples. Don't really need that thing. I can move around Illustrator and Photoshop, but I've recently gotten interested in cinema. I want to create complex things. Depending on what complex things are. I mean, Illustrator, Photoshop, those will kind of teach you, I mean, there's like parallel tools, like all the spline stuff that I've been doing is like pretty close to all the pen tools and stuff. Ideas like booling, similar to like the Pathfinder tools and stuff inside of Illustrator. A lot of the texturing that I do, I mean, these are like, if you think about this as just like layers sideways, is like what node texturing is. You just gotta like kind of wrap your mind around that sort of aspect of it, but it shouldn't be too hard after like a couple like tutorials or something. But I mean, Cinema has like a month if you want to get that. I mean, they also have like, I think like trial versions and stuff too. If you want to jump into Cinema I think has higher quality comprehensive like beginner courses, to my knowledge. I think more than like you'll have to like hunt and kind of dig through good and not so good stuff for Blender, so that might be a little bit easier. And like Cinema is definitely a lot more trendy for like graphic design-ish sort of use cases. There's a lot more like courses geared towards that sort of thing than I think Blender. But I think like Twitch wise, I see both like people doing live streams of cinema and people doing live streams of Blender. So, I mean, doesn't really matter there. Just because it's free, you might want to check out Blender and see if it's like geared towards what you want to use it for. And if not, then cinema might be a good bet. Part of the Blender thought was that I use Studio Maya licensing usually, which would be questionable to live stream. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Maya's like licensing system. What are we doing? We're making foam. So we gotta give this guy some subdivisions. Oh man, I was taught Lightwave in college. That was the only 3D program I ever took, and the guy only knew Lightwave. And I asked him if I could use Cinema instead for all my projects, because I felt like learning Lightwave was like a step back. And he was like, yeah, that seems fine. And I never looked back at Lightwave ever again. I've seen some really cool stuff come out of Lightwave, even recently, but not really my thing. Okay, so what I'm first gonna try, maybe I need to up these like a lot. First thing I'm gonna try is a collision deformer with like basic geo. So I'm gonna like, because this is like high poly, I'm just gonna alt click it, which gets you an object. Alt click will get you an object set to the parent, but it drops it in the same exact like coordinates. Shift click of like a cube will make it a child of that object. So I should have shift clicked, but so I'm gonna drop this guy down, but get like the rough shape of our beam as like a collider. I mean, it's a little off, but I can just like tilt it. Then if you alt click and click on this up and down arrow, you get it in smaller increments. It's just kind of, it's close enough of a representation. And then for this frame, I'm gonna shift click, drop a cube there, and slide it down, and get that to pretend to be the beam of this. Seems right. Height doesn't really matter because it's just going to be pressing down on it. So hopefully this works. And then I think I need to actually subdivide both of these quite a bit. So this is foam. This guy is wood. Frame. And then I'm just going to 47, 6, 4, which is close to, I just use these as the dividing, and that gets you close to like an even mesh. 88. Don't actually need it to be that long. It can be this long. Just need to collide with it. Okay. So that should work. Now let's see. Foam. Where is it? Collision. put this under the foam. And in collision, we need to add colliders to deform it with. We add these guys. Okay. Okay. Kinda. And then what if I add in the frame? Okay, so pretty messed up, but kinda. Wow, that is very mangled. And then in here, there's like all sorts of things. So if I add up steps, relax. Okay, so a lot more relaxing doesn't actually help. But you're kind of seeing the thing that I'm going after. Add more stretch, less relax. I actually want it to be pretty not stiff when it deforms. So those just do nothing, I guess. That does something. Seems like nothing else seems to do anything. Yeah, it seems like this is the only thing affecting it. Looks like I'm just gonna have to cheat the that needs to be fixed. I think it was set to intersect. So like whenever they penetrate through each other. But yeah, we could go through a couple of these. That might help it along. Just gonna put that up to 12. So this is anything inside. So this makes it want to wrap around, which is pretty cool. It's like kind of a really weird way to do like a shrink wrap effect, I guess. Yeah, I don't use this enough. Inside stretch, not what we want. Outside. That like destroys it way too much. Outside volume. That's really messes it up back there. Intersect seems to be what we want to go after. And then that seems to not be really affecting anything. It seems like just this. I'm just getting as close. And I might just bring the wood down then. Might make them invisible. So it's easier to tell what's happening. Weird, I thought that the distance from the collision geo was because of that setting. Yeah, it seems to only want to do this one. But now it seems to be messing up like a ton. Let's go back to when it was working. I mean, that back face isn't too, I'm not too worried about that one. Seemed to be working way better. Like, not that many ago. Now it's like totally messed up. Yeah, the relaxes don't seem to be adjusting much. Frame could come down. Oh, there we go. Starts to like crunch. So I mean, that's what we want to be happening. Shape-wise. And this guy. Guess maybe I need to make the foam a little bit taller to like exaggerate this bend that's happening, or like the crushing. But now it's like comically large. That seems to be a decent amount. And then what I'm thinking is that this Queen of Jordan music. This is actually a bunch of remixes that I've made. That's what we've been listening to. It's only 3 songs. But these are a bunch of random Ableton mixes that I've like done with a different like tracks from like Splice and whatnot. Because it's like easy to not have to worry about like licensing or anything. What's Queen of Jordan? Maybe I'll have to look them up. Okay, so we got this. Maybe throw that in a null. And then, what if we put that in a cloth surface? We can kind of get these edges going. And it will, versus like a normal subdivision surface, it will kind of like deform these the way we want it to. So that's kind of working properly. Oh man. Now we got this thing coming in here. Ooh, that's not working back there, but I think that will be hidden for most of the view. Ooh, no, it won't be. So we gotta figure out how to fix that. Yeah, so it looks like if I cheat it, that won't get messed up too much. Problem solved. Maybe I'll subdivide this again. No, that seems to break it. Let's keep it subdivided with this. So, I mean, for the most part, that's like getting our deforming that we want the foam to be doing. Turn these guys off again. Oh. Man, I need to rewatch 30 Rock. I like watched it like a ton in like high school. And it was super funny. I guess they've had some problematic stuff, but yeah, I need to rewatch that. And then maybe we can add a smooth. Group this again. And add a smooth to this guy. To help mess up those dimples. It kind of was like pinching at this edge. So just do a little bit of that. That looks like foam. Sick. Cool. That's working. That will work. Cool. Collision deformers. They sometimes work. Yeah, it feels like foam. I feel like that smoothing at that end, that really helps sell it. I'm gonna leave those gaps just because I think it looks better over exaggerated. Gotta move this guy out the way a bit. Yeah, the leaf is into the foam, but I'll just slide it up. Technically it's not supposed to, like, it's not really floating on anything, but from the view of the camera, you can't really tell. Let's get into texturing the foam. This is what I was curious about. Last time, yesterday, this is what crashed everything, so fingers crossed. So I'm gonna go with first. Okay, what am I gonna do first? First, I'm gonna get Cinema 40 noise, max on noise, I guess is what they call it. I'm gonna go with. Oh man, I wish you could see the pictures. Which Voronoi do I want? I think I want this guy. And then inverted. Is that what I just had? Not sure. Yeah. So with this like Voronoi, we can get like these little dots everywhere. Maybe it'll be better illustrated on the actual foam. So I'm gonna actually steal this. Put this on our foam. Just gonna take this into a save, take it into a new scene, S to solo it up, and then we can kind of start the process of doing this. The great part about this is because it's a max on noise, we won't have to worry about any of the UVs on our shape, so that'll be cool. So what I'm thinking is if we take this noise and we bring down its overall scale, I guess tryptophobia warning for anyone that has that. So we're gonna make these like little dots everywhere. They probably don't need to clamp it as much. Could probably bring it back. So you can kind of see where this is gonna go. This noise is like already, like if you're looking for like a styrofoam, you got it. Probably even go down a little bit more. And then I think like the way this works best is kind of layering these up in like scales. So like these will be the mediums, and these guys need to like get clamped a little bit more. Probably also could shift the seed. How do we seed? And then these guys. Those will be the biggest ones. We can bring that to 0. And then just using the high clip, kind of cull out some of the other ones. Let's go back to this guy. Switches. Switch this and then bring it like halfway. So we got this guy. Then we got our medium guys. Then we have our tiny details. Bring this to 0. Cool. And then if we mix these, so we take this guy as the base, and then we put mediums on top. Now we don't want to mix. What do we want to do? We want to composite. Yeah, I always forget what it's called in Redshift. take our smalls as the base, add the blend, and we will just multiply them on top. Then we'll get this pattern going on. And then we'll just do it again. Actually, this will result in like not what we want. Color layer node. I guess that's true. Yeah, we may use that because multiplying them will like duplicate the depth of like the circle, but yeah, let's see if color layer can do it. Yeah, we'll do it with color layer. So we need to take this guy as the base. This guy will be layer 1, and then the mask for this will be a ramped version, and this ramped version of our second ones will just be inverted and then clamped to be like a hard alpha of those dots, and that will go in the layer mask, and I think that's what we want. Yeah, so you can kind of see how this will work. So doing this clamped, maybe I'll tone it down. It just makes sure that their like multiply would only make dark spots, but if we use this method, we will maybe soften it. It will kind of like stamp our bigger ones so that the base is tiny, and then these will get stamped on top, and then I'll just do it again for layer 2. Oh, come on. And then get another ramp for that one. So that's these guys going here. Probably need to adjust the... That seems right. Cool. Probably go. This could go down in size, probably. I don't know, we're pretty far away from them. These could go up, maybe. Foam would never be that big. Yeah, that seems right for there. And then these are tiny ones. Ooh, you are correct. Yeah. There we go. I was like, why is it not showing up? Thank you for that. It was like, I plugged it in. I gave it a mask. Cool. So now we can see all those 3 different layers. So this second layer here. Right there. And then our mediums. And then our tiny, tiny, tiny. Tiny might go down. Yeah, so this is kind of a similar approach that I did to making like beer foam. But it gives you that like faked idea of like multiple like inset holes in something. And that's kind of what I think this foam will be built out of. So, I mean, we have this master one, and that will then be like ramped for our color, ramped for our translucency, and ramped for the bump. So I think the bump will pretty much just go from there. We gotta bring our surface along. So if we get a bump going, You can see how it perceives that. It's a little heavy. A little heavy-handed there. But feels like foam. I wonder if we invert it, what that would feel like. Kind of like these dots coming out. I feel like going in feels more like foam. Oh, then we need one more for, I guess, the roughness. Overall, I'm just going to use that as like a general. I'm not going to use much reflection. For our color, or diffuse, I don't want it to actually get too dark inside there. But I do want some like variation. And then I like this like color they did, this like cream. And like not letting it go too much there. Yeah, that would be good. Could probably go even more cream. Okay. Ooh, those little ones are a little aggressive. Maybe they don't go full dark. That's the other nice thing about layering them like that. You can kind of also pick the depth of each one. Yeah, there we go. So like the biggest ones go in the furthest, then everyone else is just kind of slices off of that. And then we gotta get the translucency. So I'm just gonna copy this guy. Translucency color. If I add a light. Okay. So. Not exactly like see-through, but inside. Pretty cool effect. Wonder if maybe just like darken this a bunch. If we'd get the idea, yeah, of like a little bit more texture going on. So generally, yeah, give it a little bit more 3D-ness. Break up that. Cool. And then I don't really do much with SSS, and I don't think we really need it that much in this case. I mean, we could crank it up, but let's call that our foam. I think maybe it also needs way more roughness and a lot less. Oh, there we go. So that looks good. Take that back into our scene. Drop it there. Delete this foam guy. Delete this guy. Yeah. Normals might be a little too heavy still. I'll go and punch them down again. And then in the material, we can go to the shadow opacity. Because I feel like it might not want to have as strict of shadows, or like harsher shadows. I'm not sure if I can cheat that quickly. I don't really want to go through the subsurface settings, so actually we can change that down to 3. If we add that back up, very reflective. Okay, that feels a little bit more foam. Just needs to be. There we go. Okay. That's believable foam for me. I was like, what? What happened to our colliders? They were stolen. There we go. It's like, what? What went on there? Okay, so there's our foam. Sitting there, balancing everything. Just needs to go up a bit. Cool. And then what's left? We gotta do the rope. Figure out the rope. And then this background color. I wonder what the background color should be. I mean, they did like a nice tan, but I think I would just gonna save first. That would be a nice color. Oh, I was also gonna add the foam to this guy. In the glass box. Glass cube. Much better. Why is that dark inside? Oh, it's because we don't like have any GI set up right now. So it's impressive that it looks this good without any GI. Maybe we should start setting that up. Maybe I'll do it after it's all set up. Oh no, that's like messed up now. Dang it. Now we're gonna adjust all this stuff to get everybody to play nice together. Okay, that's working again. I should probably go back to this bend I did up here and make sure that I could probably tone it down. There. Very cool. Yeah, we got 6 people up at midnight? What are y'all doing? Thanks for stopping by. Okay. So what do we got? What do we got? We gotta just do the rope. And I think I'm gonna like cheat. Instead of doing something crazy like that, Well, we could build something simple, I think. Turn off this. Could build something simple. So I'm gonna select that guy. Get a cylinder shifted under there. Rotate it 90. Make it way smaller. Slide it down over here. And then I think they got like a bolt going on. How many sides do a bolt have? 5? 6. 6 looks better. We got this bolt coming down. Give it some filet mignons. And then from there, I think we could do a cool. Could get this guy. And then shrink him way down. And then if we make him taller, totally round out his edges, get that cool like loop shape, then make a sweep, add an end gun. Or are we gonna add a circle? Yeah, something like that. Not as intricate as theirs, their little thingy, but it'll work for our needs. And I like the red that they used for that. So for the sweep, let's just make a nice red plastic. .41 and like 0.3. There we go. That'll be our sweep. Then the we can use whatever metal we're using here. Steel. And the lug nut part of it. Rope loop. And then we can just instance that guy. Slide him down. Slide him on down. Cool. So now we got our loops for our rope. And instead of doing like a cool knot like they did, which I'm not even sure how that works, I think it might be cool just to like have it go up and like come off frame there. Make it feel like there's another beam or something like below it. Cool. Still got to figure out this guy. Not in love with it. Don't totally hate it though. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. So get our trusty spline tool. Go. Do. And none of that, I think, will be in perspective. Yeah, not terrible. Slide that back. Could probably slide both these at the same time back. There we go. There we go. You need to be way higher up and this way. Okay. Looks correct. Ooh. Come on. And then if we chamfer you, we can get a nice little doodad there. This will come down off frame like that. Chamfer that guy the same way. Or let's get him lined up a bit better. Chamfer that guy. It's actually pretty close to where we'd want it. Cool. Yeah. I feel like there's actually intersects, but maybe it doesn't. But either way, I'll just chamfer these guys the same. Oh, come on. Oh well, this one won't really even be seen. Okay, then we just take, this is our rope spline. Put this next to that guy. Then we just take a circle again. Put a sweep. Massive. Seems about the right thickness. Might need to move our splines around now. Yeah. I think that's fine. I'd actually bring this down a wee bit. There we go. There we go. No one's even gonna see that back one. There we go. That was not too bad. And then for that guy, I'm just going to take this fabric, drop it on there, and we can start to see how that's starting to look. So, do we want it to go along this way? Short this way. Okay. Yeah. Close. I might get a color correct going in there. Tone it down a bit. Saturation wise. Yeah, there we go. It's a little bit better. Looks like rope. Yeah. For this center guy, I think that I might like it better if it is also in this like steel. And then this is all in like foam. I don't hate it, don't love it, but I'm gonna wrap it up. Background color. Yay! Yeah. Thanks, Zach, for stopping by. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up in a little bit. Wow, 3 hours. But yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks for stopping by and for stopping by all of these and being perfect attendance at every stream. Yeah, I hope that you guys, are able to pick up something. I don't know if these are as helpful as like the full breakdowns of like a little bit more interesting topics. Just watching me like kind of go through how I would build stuff, but yeah, hopefully there's some pieces in there that everyone can get something from. Okay, now what are we gonna do? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I learned a lot from like different people, so hopefully I can give some of that back. Let's see. What's left to do? We gotta do proper background. That's what we're gonna do. Gonna save first. Throw this on our background sweep. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's a better way of looking at it. It's like a different kind of thing. I wonder what color should go with for this. Yeah, just kind of like passively picking up tidbits. What are we thinking on color here? We could go and like match one of these guys. Just go like super saturated. Don't really love that. What if we go like more of like a stony blue? That's not bad. I feel like these have to be like a lot more subtle colors. I'm okay with that blue. I think that blue's looking nice. It may be just enough. Okay, composition wise, I'm feeling okay about everything that's going on. Got our everything set up the way that I would like it. So I mean, we haven't even set up the actual redshift stuff. So I'm gonna turn on brute force first. Wow, that changes a lot of the leaves. Change those here. Bring this up a bit. Get us going at like 256 there. Yeah, this lighting looks way better down there. Oh yeah, our foam looks a lot more like what I was hoping it would look like. Our leaves are, I kind of like the green that they were doing. I might tone down the translucency that they've got going on. Samplings, we're just gonna just double them for now. Cool. It's looking nice. Wonder what it looks like without our HDRI going on in the background. How much is that contributing? Oh, it's contributing actually quite a bit. I kind of like it darker though. I think that it definitely needs some. Yeah, that's looking better. Cool. That's looking good. For our camera, gonna turn on bokeh. And everything's out of focus. It's gonna pick like the apple. Just crank it up. It's a crazy effect, but not what we want. Just want like subtle depth of field there. I'm not gonna turn on bloom. I'm actually like pretty okay. I mean, it's like, is it the most? It's definitely not as like well curated or textured as that thing's going. For our steel, I might bring that up. It's like a little dark. That's not the right texture. There we go. I like that a little bit better. Cool. A rope. Does a rope need... Might need to be brighter. Yeah, it looks nice. Trying to decide if our statue like fragment should match our concrete. Maybe. I still think I'm gonna turn down the translucency weight for our leaves. Yeah. And then I think they should have more reflection. Reflection roughness. Might ramp that. Better. Okay. I'm okay with most of this, most of everything, except for what's happening in our glass. The like floor of that one is very dark. Might be cool to add like a light in there. Ooh, could be cool to add it from like shooting down from there. Let's add a light, area light. And it's massive. Let's make it a disc. Oh, should probably put it in the glass so that it lines up. I'm okay with that. Cool. So that's everything there. So I guess we can just kick off a render of it. Maybe do a little post in After Effects. So if I select just this a little bit, just want to make sure all this stuff's gonna render properly. Don't know if we need to crank up the grain or the samples on it. It's taking a bit. Start rendering. Probably double on this. Look him up. This is not the most efficient way to do this. I'm okay with that amount of grain. It's fine with me. Okay, cool. So then, just kick this off. Save it just as a PNG. We can do it at R&D, Cine4D, stream. Just do a $PRJ. That will just save it as whatever the file name is, which is nice. Save it and click those off, close it, and set it to go. That actually renders pretty fast. And we don't have too much craziness going on for it to really have to think about much. Then just do a little bit of After Effects tweaking. We'll call it a day. Kind of helps that the lighting was pretty much already set up. There we go. Save this and close it out. Close out of everything else. Yeah, I do a lot of my, even on stills, all my stuff in After Effects just because I'm more comfortable with all the tools in there. Yeah, so in the about, because people have asked this a couple of times, I have like a spreadsheet of like my build that I keep updated pretty frequently. But I mean, like the main ones, it's like an i7 Intel for the CPU, and then two, like a 1080 Ti and a 1080 as the GPUs that I'm running. But yeah, I'm looking actually all those new the 300 series GPUs. Those are looking cool. Can't tell if I want to get, because they're saying that the 3090 is gonna take up like 3 PCI slots, so I would only really be able to have like one, and then like a single slot card, which would suck. But the 24, I think it's 24 gigabyte VRAM is super cool. So it'd be, I don't know. I think I might have to go for the like 3080, because it's only a dual slot, and just get like 2 of those and sacrifice the VRAM. Stream. Here's our image. It's working. 16-bit. Let's fit it up. Yeah. I mean, most of this is Quixel. That's why I like it. It looks halfway decent without actually having to do much to it. But a lot of times what I just go and do is I just grab grain from footage. What am I looking for here? Footage, grain, clean. Then I go with like 35mm. I'm gonna have to scale it up for this guy. And then the way I do it, it's probably not the proper way of doing this, but I do an overlay, which that's too grainy. But then I also do a hard light. And this kind of covers my bases for, like, I feel like overlay by itself, and I normally do, you know, 25 or something. It's just like, it blends everybody together. I might go 20. It gets like a lot of like most areas, but you don't really see it like in that green. You don't really see a lot of it coming through. So that's what the hard light's for. And I cut it to like half or even less. But it helps like poke through in any areas that the overlay's not getting. That's just how I personally do it. Yeah, so we got our grain. What's next? What else can we do? I also, a lot of times, just Gaussian blur just the slightest bit to get rid of that like artificial crispiness of yeah, and just that little bit. Maybe 1.25. Yo, what's up? 3-2 Bravo. Thanks for stopping by. We're actually coming close right to the end of this one. So, sorry about that. But thanks for stopping by. We remade this super cool 6 and 5 render that they did like a couple days ago for like campaign for Burberry. And I wanted to see how I would go about building it, like a little bit more simplified version of it, but this is kind of what we came up with in our version. Lots of Quixel stuff in here, but it was fun nonetheless, like figuring out how to do some of the stuff. Yeah, that foam looks better than it was the GI, that's what was missing. But yeah. So I mean, there's not much other. I guess maybe I would go and I would add on top of this, just do like a deep glow. That's crazy, but I might do it like 90, 80. Might just add like a little bit of bloom. help wash out these areas. Then I might actually just overall tone it down. Yeah, that's cool. Getting a little bit of bloom over there. And then I guess most of the time I do lazy color correction in like Visco on my phone. But for this one we can just hit it with a S curve. Let's punch some of those darks and lights. I never feel confident in my color correction that I do on stuff. Yeah, bring back some of that. And then we can see what like Lumetri color LUT thrown on top of it. What do we want to go with? Let's go through a couple of these. I mean, theirs was like a pretty clean look. Ooh, I kind of like that one, but I'm just going to tone it down to like 15%, 25% maybe. Just keep adding it until it gets obnoxious. Might drop it below. And then go into here and add in some magenta. And then actually make it cooler. Yeah, I think that that'd be pretty close to. Let's look at what we're looking at on the scopes. Maybe we'll do a final levels after that one. Bring back some of the whites. Wow, Lumetri scope seems to be choking. Why is it not updating? I mean, seems, yeah, that's a good punch. That seems to be it. Just export this. Save from this file. PNG. Not a proper workflow at all. But, you know. For this, it will be. And that's pretty much a process of like how most of my everydays when I was doing them would go. So I mean, this file probably won't be able to go up just because of all the, you know, assets from Quixel that are in it. But there is the finished thing. Kind of our straight render, then our touch-ups to it. Yeah, that color correction I feel like is decent. Thanks everybody for hanging in there, sticking along, asking questions. Makes it super fun to do these. Hope that through this was kind of a fun thing to watch. I'm going to be streaming again tomorrow night, probably 9 p.m. again. If you want to stop on by. Not sure what I'm going to be doing. Probably another like one of these sort of things, like a watch me work, ask questions sort of deal. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. I didn't upload the 2 ones ago, the stream in After Effects and all that stuff, but I will be uploading that sometime this week with the project files for that. But yeah, take care. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. And I'll see you guys on the next one tomorrow, probably same time. Yeah, thanks.